Hey guys, welcome back to the Fergie Time Podcast. Today, I'm joined by Bo Feekins, and we will be discussing the recent news that Mauricio Pochettino has been sacked as the manager of Tottenham Hotspurs and has been replaced by none other than Jose Mourinho. Bo, what are your initial thoughts going into it?
Can I just say that this is probably the biggest topic we've covered as a duo on this podcast, so I'm super excited to get into this topic. As far as I'm concerned, this is a crazy decision from Tottenham Hotspurs. It's been absolutely mental. I've been on Twitter pretty much hours since I found out Pochettino was sacked. Since he was sacked, just reading up on everything possible about the situation, and this is my perspective on it. I think Mauricio Pochettino did as much as he could for Tottenham Hotspur. He reached his limit, and that's what I think happened. Season after season, he was asked to pull out a miracle, and he did that. But he reached his limit. There was no further he could go with this Tottenham team. Now, whether or not Jose Mourinho is the man to take them further is a question that we'll save for a little bit later.
But do you think he will? I want to know right now.
Right now?
Yeah, do you think Jose Mourinho is the man to take Tottenham further? Is that the right appointment? Is that the right replacement?
Well, obviously, you know, whether or not it's the right appointment is a huge topic, because what's the foundation of the club? What is your club, your long-term goals?
You said
short-term wise, Jose Mourinho is the perfect appointment. He's going to lead Tottenham to success. Mark my words, I'm the one that said it on this podcast. This is going to go out line. You're all going to see it. Mark my words, Jose Mourinho is going to take this Tottenham team to the next level.
Okay, Bo Feekins, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire today because I believe the sacking of Mauricio Pochettino and the replacement of Jose Mourinho for him is an absolutely terrible decision. And let me explain why before you jump back in. I want to say Pochettino has taken Spurs to heights the club has never seen before. 3 of their best seasons in club history. Who is the manager? Mauricio Pochettino. Again, who took them to the Champions League final? Mauricio Pochettino. Do you think 10 years ago Spurs fans ever thought that was possible? No, they never did. And Pochettino had one little hiccup, one little rough season, and they're like, oh, let's just get rid of him. That is crazy. And one other thing, Jose Mourinho, how is he going to come in here? Spurs is not a club with the legacy of United. If they go downhill, they could stay down there. Mourinho is not a long-term manager. And one last thing, if Pochettino was not getting the transfer budget he wanted, do you expect them to spend with Mourinho? Because they're going to have to spend massive amounts to have success with Mourinho. That is the Mourinho way.
Listen to me. My argument behind this is not whether or not Mourinho is a better manager than Pochettino. I highly rate Pochettino as a football manager, and I honestly believe there's only 2 clubs in the world who wouldn't hire him right now, and I believe that's Liverpool and Man City. Every other club, I think, would consider hiring him immediately for the head coach position at their club.
So then why sack him?
What I'm trying to say is they reached their limit. Pochettino, there was something clearly not going right at Spurs this year, and if you actually look at the statistics, Spurs have been in bad form from beyond last season.
That is true.
In fact, the games they won at Ajax and Man City are the ones that stand out for games that they've won. The rest of their form is defined in pretty average, kind of what we've seen this season from Spurs. And my argument behind this is Pochettino, he clearly lost that dressing room. Let me ask you this, Aiden Ferguson. Alderweireld, top defender, elite defender, world-class defender.
I don't know about world-class, but very good defender. Go ahead.
Wasn't getting game time. Vertonghen, same situation, same type of player, wasn't getting game time. Why? Pochettino lost the dressing room, and you can make this yardy about contract business, but Pochettino, he lost that dressing room. Dele Alli, why hasn't Dele Alli been up to form like recently?
He's been injured.
Because he's complacent, and Pochettino allowed him to be complacent.
And you know why some of that complacency sat in? Because Pochettino was not given the backing by the club to go out and get good players to bring them in.
Yeah, but listen to this, Aiden Ferguson. If say you work in a store and you're the cashier and the owner doesn't buy you a calculator, are you supposed to just sit and moan and complain and not do your job?
So is that not then a problem with the player?
It's
with the players, or because it's the mentality of the players that is holding Tottenham back right now.
No. A manager is the manager is responsible for his players. When the players don't perform, who's the one that goes? It's obviously the manager, because it's easier to get rid of one man instead of 25, right? You know what I'm saying? There's 25 players in a squad. It's easier to get rid of the one manager instead of all 25. In this case scenario, I believe Pochettino had reached his limit. When they made that Champions League final, that was his peak. The pinnacle of Pochettino's reign at Tottenham. After that, this is what the rest of Pochettino's reign would have looked like. And I hate to say it, but they better sack him now before they got themselves too deep into the bottom of the table later in the year, because this form wasn't improving under Pochettino.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. So you believe the mentality issues, though? There are mentality issues within the team, correct?
I believe with individual players.
Yeah, with individual players.
I believe towards the end of Pochettino's reign, they allowed those issues to sink in, yes.
So how do you believe a manager such as Jose Mourinho, known for being terrible in terms of player relationships, known for having confrontational relationships, how can he then get the best out of these Tottenham players?
Listen, this yardy that Mourinho in recent times has been known to lose dressing rooms around the third season. But actually, if you look at his track record, those first 2 seasons have been extremely successful. Look at when he came into Chelsea a few years ago. Came in, they didn't win the league, they made a few signings, the next year they were unbelievable in the league. They could have gone further in the Champions League, got knocked out by a frickin' David Luiz header. They were unbelievable in the Premier League. That third year, he lost the dressing room. When he came into Man United, that second year, well, the first year he won the Europa League and the Carabao Cup. And that second year, Man United actually accumulated enough points in the league that in any other year, they would have been league winners.
Okay.
So he actually produced a performance at Man United, Mourinho-esque. He produced a title-winning performance in any other year where Man City didn't get 100 points in the league.
But where do Spurs go from there if Mourinho's only there for 3 years? Well, then they are fucked.
Well, I don't necessarily think so. Because if you look at Man United right now, they're suffering the post Mourinho consequences, you could say. They've brought in Ole, and we've had our own video about opinions on Ole, but United are now starting to build for the long term. You can kind of see them pick up the parts of the Mourinho disaster.
Could that not happen to Spurs then?
I believe so, but what's the difference between Spurs and United? Pre-Mourinho at United have a huge cabinet of trophies. Credit to Sir Alex Ferguson. Tottenham have nothing. Tottenham, in the last few years under Pochettino, have been playing great football. But where's the trophy collection to show for it? It's nowhere. And if there's one man in world football who can bring trophies to clubs, almost guarantee you a trophy in his 2 to 3 year tenure, it's Jose Mourinho.
Okay, I'm gonna hold your feet to the fire right here. We're getting a live prediction from both Beacons. Do you believe under Jose Mourinho that Tottenham Hotspurs will win a Premier League title?
Yes. And a Champions League. I personally think Jose Mourinho is the best manager on the planet. You can argue about his tenure at Man United. You can argue about his tenure at Chelsea that ended sourly. But is there a man on the planet who has won a Champions League with Inter Milan, with Porto, league titles at Real Madrid, Porto, Inter Milan, Chelsea?
It's been a while,
but he is the special one.
Football's changed a lot since then.
There's no man like Jose Mourinho.
Football has changed.
And he's going to do a job at Spurs. You watch and wait. Folks, you wait. And Aiden Ferguson, in 2 years' time, will be sitting in this very chair, and I'm going to say to you, I told you so.
No.
I told you so.
No.